My name is Bruce. I am the founder of Get Right Fragrance and one of the members of the Clean Team.
My name is Jason Crawford, partner of Get Right Fragrance Clean Team Movement. It's a global movement, and we just trying to get right.
Thank you for joining us. And I'm Nigel White, one of the hosts of Can We Be Fragrant podcast. And Kareem and Jessica, y'all can introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm Jess, co-host. Can we be fragrant? Lover of all things fragrance.
Kareem, the best smelling alive.
Oh
Okay.
God.
uh, I also want to give a shout out to everybody that's actually coming to join us from our followers, people we just introducing in this fragrance world, and thank y'all for reposting. So bringing it in from the people that follow your page and coming and join us here. We just thank y'all for giving us blessing us with the time because it took effort for us to get here.
Yeah,
But
indeed.
I want to start off with how I found y'all. And this is before we got started. Jason was like, "Hey, you know my friend, you know someone named Erica?" I said, "Very interesting." So because that is how I found y'all. Because I was at one of our local PG establishments called Lambert's, and I met
Oh,
her there. And she was like, "Yeah, we were talking about fragrance and said that you smell good." And she's like, "Yeah, I bought this fragrance for my son, the whole thing." And I was like, "What is it called?" And then I went
Erica
and looked at it,
Logan.
and then I went and bought the sample set, and then we actually did a sample review of everything, and then I reached out to your team about like, hey, can we post it? Because I actually bought this hating person, Kareem, right here for his birthday, the signature scent one for his birthday, um, and we had just loved the sample set. That's how I
Thank you.
came across your brand, and then just talking to y'all on Instagram. I love the just working through this, trying to get connected was a good process, and we finally got here. So I appreciate that.
Shout
But
out, shout out to the homie Erica Counts. She is a bright light, and shout out to her son. He's a baller out there in the DMV area.
shout out to it.
uh, so tell us how did you get to the point of wanting to be in the fragrance brand, creating a fragrance and coming around to this?
It's like you said that one more time. It's breaking up on my end.
Awesome. Can you tell us how did you get into wanting to start a fragrance line?
Yeah, it was more actually just being a lover of fragrances. It was something that, when you think about embarking into entrepreneurship, and it was kind of like, what do I want to do? What business do I want to do outside of working a 9 to 5? And this was actually something that was right underneath our noses the whole time. Jason and I was always into fragrances. So the idea of coming up with a fragrance brand was actually just a no-brainer. So it's kind of like, in a sense, when you think of what do you want to invest in, like in a stock, you want to invest in a stock or something that you utilize daily. So investing into a brand was something, as far as a fragrance or something that we use daily. So it was actually a no-brainer to actually get into the fragrance space.
How did you oh,
No,
Nigel,
go
were you
ahead.
saying
Go ahead.
something?
No, go ahead.
So how did you guys come up with the name of the brand altogether and then ultimately the clean team? Like how did all of that come about?
Yeah, I would say so. Back in the days, we used to go to all white parties, and I never forget. It was one night. It was about 10 of us, and we was all dressed in white, and we was all clean. And when we looked around, it was kind of like, "Yo, we the clean team." So that kind of was a phrase that kind of just stuck with us throughout the years. Of every time we would go out, it was all about getting clean, and then it was a whole team of us. So that's how the name derived from the fragrance was Clean Team. And get right was also another phrase that we used to say, when we used to get ready, we used to be like, yo, I'm about to get right for the night. So it was just more of a confidence thing, like, hey, I'm about to get right, I'm about to get ready. So incorporating that into the brand was something that was easy because it was like, hey, when you spray on the cologne, you usually spraying on something to get ready for the moment. You're getting ready for the work, you're getting ready to go on a date, you're ready to go out. So get right was something that we wanted to incorporate. So when you spray the fragrance on, it kind of gives you that motivation to say, "Yeah, I'm about to get right."
All good positive affirmations. Getting right.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah.
Oh, Kareem, did you have something to say? I thought you were going to say something.
I was just gonna say that I got right before this interview. I had to take a whole new shower, and I put on that signature scent. So, um, let me ask you this: what is your favorite fragrance? Like when you have your own brand and things like that, do you wear other brands, or do you just mostly wear um, the Get Right team fragrances?
You want to take that, Jay, or you want me to?
Yeah. So I mean, my favorite, and Bruce knows I say it all the time, is that purple label. This is this is my go-to when I want to feel fly and fresh. You know what I mean, and clean. We have this new Rose Special. That's I was telling Bruce this may be like 1A for my favorite. But as far as going out and supporting other brands, we try to keep it within our community, like Ovation. I like this brand right here, Disco. We go with the Savoir Affair.
Oh,
You
we've been
know,
talking about all of these lately.
Yes, literally.
Kirk Elliott. We
Okay.
support each other.
Okay,
And we hope that everyone supports us.
Yeah.
It's a community.
That's crazy because we literally went through those. We did the sample sets, a lot of them, and it was kind of like the same thing of what we went through with all those brands. It's kind of just how it's all lining up for us. So it's actually kind of unique that you bringing stuff the other black brand. Here we go. Which one is that one?
This is the new South Italiano Africano.
yeah, that
Oh,
one is
okay.
clean.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mm.
we support. We show love. It's enough pie for everybody to live.
So
So how about you, Bruce? Because we heard from Jason. What about you?
As far as the brand that I like, the fragrance that I like within the brand, I pretty much it's situational for me. I usually wear, depending on the mood or the event, I bounce around between different fragrances. Say for example, signature is I would say my most worn because that's like my daily signature scent, which I could wear to work. I could wear when I'm traveling. It's not offensive, so I would say that one gets the most wear out of it. But then everything else is pretty much situational.
Do you wear other brands?
Not at the moment. I kind of
Okay.
stick to
Okay.
because I'm marketing my own fragrance, so I kind of stick to what I'm wearing. Because if I get someone say, "Hey, you smell good," it's just a subway to say, "Hey, I also own my own fragrance brand." So
Right.
Yeah.
I
When
respect that.
when y'all are getting help formulating these brands, your fragrances, excuse me, like how did that process go for you? How long? What was that process like for y'all?
say that one more time.
When your fragrance is getting formulated, how was that? How did y'all get to the point of saying these, like the signature? This, how many times did y'all go through like the testing of it, putting it together, forming it? Like, how was that process for y'all?
We go through several. I would say we call it treatments. We pretty much stage them in the first evaluation, and usually we usually stop at the fifth evaluation of the final tweak, and at that point is when we actually we would send out samples to people within our community, or most people that we send it to are fragrance lovers that like the brand, so we get their feedback, and then that will allow us to know if this scent is ready to go.
Which one was your actual very first one? Was the signature your very first one, or
That was signature, yeah.
okay, that makes sense. Okay, okay.
And
Um,
signature actually, so when the brand was first started in 2020, well 2019 we launched in 2020. The signature scent was created by a third party. We outsourced that fragrance, and then it was a situation where we had kind of hiccups with the company. So at that point, it was a way we had to learn how to pivot, and pivoting in terms of instead of using a company that we was outsourcing, it was a way that we realized that we need to make our own scents to have more, control over the fragrance. Because
So
now we know what's going into our scents, and just as a precaution of safety to just to kind of know what we're working with. So that's was the time actually during the pandemic, it allowed us to actually learn and going into the fragrance industry to kind of build out our own brand. And that's how we actually became more successful in learning the fragrance, how to make our own fragrances was is giving us the opportunity to cut costs and actually build out the brand faster.
So when you launched your fragrances, how was that initial marketing of that? Like, because how did you get to the point of putting it to the field for testing and like growing, getting it out there out of your local area? Because y'all from up north, but like getting it down to other markets and spreading it to other regions.
So I'll take that one, Bruce. So that at the launch, like Bruce said, the launch of our initial launch was which is going to be end of 2019, early 2020. We all know what happened is a global pandemic, so that kind of halted our face-to-face interactions. So we had to pivot and move to um, online marketing and online distribution and online sales. So we had a awesome marketing campaign that we did with the help of some talented people, and we got a digital marketing campaign out and got the word out that way. While everyone was home looking at their phone, we was just blasting them with social media blast and videos and stuff.
What would you say was the biggest challenge, like as y'all got this brand off the floor? What's the biggest challenge for you? I know other than like rebranding your stuff, going through the fragrance, switching providers for it. Like, what was the hardest part for y'all?
I would say the most difficult and current point is actually just trying to advertise on social media. I think businesses are getting suppressed, especially black owned brands are suppressed on social media. So it kind of makes it hard for us to kind of get that free promotion like we want to capitalize on.
So, question for you. Would you say, well, I guess what's the hardest part? Um, what's the hardest part of the business that doesn't get talked about? Is it the social media aspect? Is it the finding people to test the fragrances? Is it just getting yourself out there? Like, what is the one part about running this business? Because it is a business. Obviously you're a creative. You're creating these fragrances, but what's the one part that people don't talk about enough?
I would
So
say
yeah, Bruce.
I would say the cost of running a business. I think, for us to be an independent brand, to invest and to buy ingredients, to buy oils, to buy bottles, the cost is significant. And I think oftentimes, the fragrance community don't understand, like, for indie brands, the amount of work and money that is invested into going into making these fragrances. And oftentimes, we get a lot of content creators that just, they ask for, free bottles. And it's like, in exchange for a free bottle, you have to understand the cost that is that we take on in bringing this to market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a content creator, I see both sides, and I used to run a candle business, right? So I get
Mhm.
the expenses behind all of it, and I was just talking about this yesterday. I was on live on TikTok. Uh, these brands, they don't owe us anything as far as like content creators, but also like your price is your price and nobody can
Correct.
negotiate that. There's no discount. We know the blood, sweat, tears, all of the things that goes into, well, some people don't. I recognize the blood, sweat, and tears that goes
Yeah,
into curating something, creating something, and then for someone to ask you for something for free. I get that. It's like, y'all don't know on the back end what that's costing. So I definitely
correct.
get that. I
And I
definitely
and,
get that.
and I think it's when oftentimes when some fragrance creators get into the business of owning their own fragrance, that's when they start to realize, hey, okay, this costs money. So I just
Hmm.
can't, of course, giving PR comes with the territory, but it's more content creators than we have, inventory. So I think it's to the point where you have to balance it out. But I think oftentimes creators don't understand until they're on the opposite side of the fence where they realize, okay, this is really hurting my bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and I hope this don't get nobody in trouble, but with all the work that you put into creating fragrances and marketing them, how do you all feel about dupes?
I'm not a big fan of dupes. It is what it is. I think they got money behind it, so they're able to dominate the space. Um and I think actually that's where we shine because most dupes are just redundant fragrances. And I think when you step into a brand like Get Right, you're actually getting something that's not duped. So you're not gonna smell like anything that's out there. And I think that's where we kind of stand strong in the fragrance community, because oftentimes when people smell our fragrances, they're like, hey, this is different. You know, this, I don't have nothing like this in my catalog. So I think with the dupe market and everything being redundant, at some point that's gonna just wear itself out.
Also, you have to put yourself in the space that, as a creator, you don't want to people to just steal and make money off of your project, off your ideas, off your love. Think about back in the day when they used to have bootleg DVDs and bootleg CDs. So the rap artists or R&B singers, whatever, they would lose out on record sales and stuff like that. So you kind of got to put yourself in that perspective.
We as far as running your business and everything coming together, I know, like, of course y'all are the prime two of the primary people, and how does that work, as far as when you have that team under you and y'all navigating this as a unit? How do y'all navigate that together?
We got a small team, so usually, like, if we're doing pop-up shops, so Jason and I pretty much run the front end of the business. When it comes to pop-up shops, and it comes to expanding to like different like wholesales, that's when we use our team behind us. We have people that run like kind of like the field market that help us out behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I got a
So
question. Go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
just it takes team. You can't do anything alone. It takes collaboration, networking. You know, we're here because of someone that I know that met Nigel. So everyone's connected, and we all here should be helping each other out in some sort of capacity. I'm sorry, Jess. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, because I just kind of want to take it back to fragrance, and I want to talk about notes, because we've talked about a little formulating fragrances, we talked about business side, but for the fragrance lovers, is there a note that each of you fell in love with as you guys started creating these fragrances? Is there a common denominator in the fragrances, between notes? The signature have a note that shares with Purple Label, that shares with Rose for Shaw. Like, is there a note that you all? Rose is one of my favorites, so
Yeah.
naturally, I loved. Naturally, that was like one of my favorites from you all. But just for you all, do you all have favorite notes?
Yeah, I would say sandalwood is pretty much my go-to. It's just a scent that just gives it, a nice roundness. It gives it body. It gives it, that woodiness. Also gives it that creaminess. So in most of our fragrances, you're gonna kind of find that element of sandalwood in there.
Jason, do you have a favorite
I would
note?
say I like the bergamot. It's like I like the spiciness of it. It's very floral, and I would say I would just pretty much say bergamot, because if you look at the notes on a lot of the different flavors of, I like to say flavors, the different flavors, is bergamot is incorporated in many of those scents.
Yeah, it's a great top note. Gives you
Hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
that 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 citrus burst.
Yeah.
You all fragrances are unique. I don't think I've smelt anything like anything from the sample set that we've gone through. What's your schedule for creating fragrances? Like, is it you also don't? It doesn't seem like you all are trying to flood the market, just coming out with a bunch of stuff. Like, you take your time
Hmm.
creating these fragrances. Do you plan on, like? Do you all have a schedule for like one a year, two a year? Like, what are you all thinking?
Yeah, we usually try to do about maybe two or three a year, give or take. Last year in 2025, we dropped Berry Oud and Rose Special.
Hmm.
So this year, 2026, we're actually gonna try to do. We're working on three right now, which will be our Platinum and Gold collection, and yeah, so we try to stick it within two to three, not to over, expand ourselves, because it is a lot of work on the back end, and then
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time to curate these fragrances. So we try to play it safe, and then also not over flood the market as well, and also give our other fragrances time to live out.
Right.
Let us know when you drop that, because I will much appreciate to see what this other line, because I've seen the which I came up with and have, like, we like them all, but I'm just curious to see what the next thing is, because I feel like these been there, so now I'm ready to see what this new wave is. That's like we've gotten exposed to it, and so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
wondering what the evolution of y'all is going to be.
And it's when we first started out. So signature was actually going to be our one and only scent at one point. Just because in the early stage, we didn't think that we was going to grow this far. And then you realize, the market demands more, because some would say, hey, okay, signature's cool. But then some customers would say, I need something more musky. We need something more dark. And that's when we went into creating the black. And then when we had the signature in the black, then it was like, okay, we need something now for the ladies. So it's like, it's going to keep forcing you to keep making and creating more stuff. And that's how we came out with the cherry red. So involvement in the community, hearing feedback is how we also expand our brand as well.
Do you have any fears as you're going through this process of creating fragrance? Like, what is the biggest like wall you think you might hit in this process?
Take that, Jake.
Um, just getting too comfortable, not adjusting to the market, not adjusting to the trends, not adjusting to what the people want. Like Bruce just said, we initially was going to start with one and just rock out with that, but as people started falling in love with the project and what we're doing, we had to provide and supply. So it's a
Yeah.
process, it's growth. As humans, I feel like you should always try to grow in some sort of capacity. And as a company, we're growing. So slow and steady, and we're enjoying the ride.
Do you consider your brand like a more of like a low designer brand since y'all do have like your clothing and stuff like that as
Mhm.
well with with the fragrance, or do y'all just mainly going to probably focus more on the fragrance moving forward? Like, do you think there's a line y'all going to kind of face a line in the sand where y'all going to go next?
We're testing the market. Core would be the fragrance,
Yeah.
but we also we're heavy into fashion, and so we like to incorporate some fashion aspect to it. Clean is our theme, so most times, like you see, we have the logos and stuff just to give
Yeah.
that brand recognition to the outside community. So at least if you don't smell the brand, you're gonna see the brand.
Mm.
Is there a fragrance that you all have what's the most popular fragrance that you all have? Just statistically, I'm curious. Is it the signature or what's the most popular?
It's hard to say. They pretty much all sell. They all sell. They rotate. Oftentimes, rose. It depends if we have an influencer that gives a review. Rose will sell. Berry will sell. So it pretty much rotates, which is good. It gives the chance for the fragrances to actually just continue to outsell itself.
I do appreciate when I looked at when I went to go like buy a fragrance brand, I saw like y'all do a his and her offer, and y'all do the embroidery on the bottle. Like you've given the option to personalize it for the experience of getting the brand and doing something if you want to buy something special. Because not a lot of brands don't do the engraving, and they don't
Yeah.
have it up to do the his and her set. Even with the volume of fragrance you have, it's just some option that it's good to give people, and I do appreciate that.
Thank you, that goes into trying to keep that client retention, and also just trying to not separate ourselves from other brands, but just offering more of a service. So you're not just buying a fragrance; you're actually getting a service as well. And I think having a custom engraving gives a person the actual ability to kind of brand their own fragrance. Because not only can you just get your like if you go to Louis Vuitton, you can just get your initials, but without engraving method, you can actually get a message put on your bottle. You can get your logo. So it just takes branding and making your own personal bottle to the next level.
I don't have a question. I have more of a complaint.
Uh-oh.
Me and my crew, we were known as the original clean team. So I feel like there's been some infringement going on here. But Jason, he got me beat in age, so I think I'm gonna defer to him and just let it slide this time.
Hey man, we all the same team,
Yeah, we all on the same team.
It's a
That's
movement.
right.
What advice would you give someone who wants to start a fragrance brand? Um, for that's for either of you.
I would say be original, um, be creative, test the market, learn the business, find a
Yeah.
mentor, and understand that there's a community out there that can possibly help you, and mentorship is very important.
Yeah, I think for new brands coming into this space, it's getting a lot more difficult because I got to give a shout out to Terry Todd if he's watching this. You have a lot of collectors who have tons of fragrances. They call the fragrance their wardrobe. So coming into the space now, one time he mentioned to me, he was like, everything smells good. They done smell everything under the sun. So, now it's to the point where any brand that's coming out, you have to really come out with a unique scent. That's something that is going to blow people's minds because, again, everything smells good. I could come out with a regular fragrance, rose, cherry, whatever, but if it doesn't have a unique spin to it, just like our rose fragrance doesn't smell like the average rose. That's why we was like, hey, this is special because this is not your typical rose fragrance. So if you're not coming into this space with something that's going to blow people's mind, then it's going to be a challenge because again, everything smells good. And if you want people to buy into your brand, it got to be something that's outstanding. And that's going to compete with the dupes as well.
Um, no disrespect to Nigel and Jessica, but shout out to and so Vanilla. Let me ask you this: what keeps you all going? Like, this is a difficult business to be in. It requires so much work. Like, what motivates y'all and keeps you going every day? Because you also have like a 9 to 5 too.
Yeah. It's the community. I think it's the community, the support. Every day we wake up and someone purchase a fragrance and they're making a review about it. That keeps the energy going, and that's the creative juices of what's next. We have our 6 fragrances. Even with the upscale of the bottles, I don't know if you got a chance to look at our previous bottles, but just upscaling the bottles and getting more into a custom bottle and custom, atomizers and just always thinking of something creative to kind of bring the brand, something luxury and now getting into the platinum and gold collection where the bottles are going to be silver and gold and rose gold. It's just taking the brand and pivoting to different levels.
Just
Are
Nigel
you,
noticed
you on
Yeah,
mute?
he on
Nigel, we
mute.
can't hear you.
I'm sorry, you can hear me now.
Yeah.
Speaking of the atomizer, so when I bought Kareem's bird, I bought him the signature for you, and I bought a copy of myself. Y'all sent me the atomizer as well, and I gifted that to my coworker. And my coworker was like, you know what? I don't know what I was gonna wear today, but I'm wearing this on my date today because
Yeah,
obviously I'm gonna smell good. I was like, hey, you
that's what's
welcome,
up.
brother. And I was like, it was a welcome surprise, and I gifted it to somebody else so they can actually have an experience, So I do appreciate that, which I did do as well.
Are you
Yeah.
referring to the samples?
No, I'm referring to when I bought 2 of the bottles. I bought myself the signature, and I bought Kareem for his birthday
Hmm.
a signature of the same bottle,
Why I
and then
keep being
y'all
brought
sent it.
into this conversation? That's
He's
crazy.
just saying he got you a fragrance.
Yeah, but he said that like 8 times.
Oh my
He's
God!
proud of it.
You know
He's
what?
proud
He's
of
such a
it.
hater. Don't see. You know how to detract from a story. You know. Goodness, I lost my train of thought. See,
That's
already.
all right.
See,
I
he's
got
good for
you.
that. I
You
was
know what? I
Y'all,
know what you're saying. Let me catch you up. You were talking about the fragrance that I bought you for your birthday that you never wore. Let's talk about that. Okay, so anyway,
we were talking about community, and you guys were just talking about community,
Look,
and
he's the Killmonger of the crew. Okay, you know what I'm saying.
oh
Let's just be honest.
gosh,
You know what I'm saying. Is this look? He the Michael B. Jordan of the crew. Got
oh
it.
gosh.
Got you.
We all know how big community is, especially when you're starting a business. And, that's really what keeps everything going. The people who really rock with you, support you. How do you like for people to show up for you? And then how do you show up for the community? community? Obviously, buying the fragrances is one thing, right? But you got to push the mission forward. So, is it reviews for you that really help you all? Like, how do you want people to show up for you? And then in turn, how do you show up for that same community?
First, please show up at getrightfragrance.com. Start there,
What's the
right?
code? What's the
Hey,
code?
put it. Hey,
Show
say
up.
it again.
Show up to Get Right Fragrances.
Right.
Discount code
Rollo 20 for
R A
20%
L L
discount for
O
1 week only.
RALLO 20. Y'all
Yes.
go to the website right now. Show support. Show community. All of the things. All
That
right.
that's the first thing.
Yeah.
Spread the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Go to Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. Go to a video, like a video, share a video, and leave a comment or a comment.
And don't forget subscribe.
And
Yes.
don't forget to subscribe. And then buy one for your mother, buy one for your brother, buy one for your sister, buy one for your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your wife or your husband. That's how you support us.
You know, shout out to Bruce because I didn't want to feel like the only ones having a drink. He wasn't scared
Oh
to take the picture
goodness.
with him. I ain't feeling alone.
and and then in turn, how do you build community, right? Is it by doing the customized bottles that you all spoke of? Is it by being super responsive, just like Nigel
Yes.
was saying earlier? When we reached out or he reached out so that we could talk to you all, it was super responsive. Like, is how do you in that way show up for the community that really rocks with y'all and supports and buys and likes and comments? Because I do think that's a big element that brands sometimes miss. Not you all, because
Yeah.
clearly we got y'all on the line right now, but sometimes that element is missing for brands and people don't talk about it, but
I I want to add another thing.
mm-hmm,
When you say brands, I want to
mm-hmm,
shout out Bruce. He's been a supreme leader for this brand and movement. He's on top of everything. As you said, he responded quickly to your
yep,
messages. He, super genius for the vision, for the
Appreciate you.
ideas. But it's just seriously like just gotta have you gotta know when to lead and know when to follow. So there's
Yeah.
no ego, there's no egos involved. There's no jealousy involved. There's just going to work and trying to push a movement to try to build, and hopefully it trickles down that everyone can eat from it. We could in the future we could have another interview. We could go on a speaking tour, whatever. We could
yeah.
we can
Go
we,
back.
we can all build together. So that's shout out to my partner Bruce. He's a
Shout out to
visionary.
you,
He's a
Bruce.
leader, and salute
Thank
to
you.
him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about being active. You get emails, you get DMs. It's really staying on top of it, even on the weekends. Even just before this call, someone sent me an email about discovery sets, and it's like, something that simple, it's on the website, but taking it in a nice way, say, hey, visit the website, we have discovery sets and samples available. Also, I have a good relationship with my customers. Oftentimes when I see repeat customers, if they purchase a fragrance, I'll add a 10 ml atomizer, a 10 ml fragrance with their next purchase, just keeping that relationship because it give or take. You're spending your hard earned money with us. I'm going to give you a little something in return. And I think that helps, build reputation and build a solid foundation.
Also, we are also environmentally conscious. So what I mean by that is when you spend your money and buy a bottle, you use your bottle, you can refill it with us for half the price.
Yeah.
Love that.
So we're
Love
giving back.
that.
We helping helping the Mother Earth out, and we helping
And
for the
in the
community.
pockets.
Yeah,
And the pockets.
yeah.
And I love all of that. And I love your answer about just showing loyalty to the people that show up for you. Because not only am I part of this podcast, you guys don't know, but some of the people watching and then my brothers know that I am a fragrance enthusiast, collector. and all of the things, right? And the brands that I heavily support, sometimes you don't get that same love back. And it's sometimes
Yeah.
it's like, I know you're busy, you're running a business, but also, take the time for the little guys. I would consider myself a nano influencer, right? Although I
Mhm.
influence the people, I don't always, well, my numbers may not match what these brands want to see. So it's really important. And I'm so happy that you all take the time and do that and recognize people, because it makes people feel so good when their favorite brands at least feel accessible to them. And I
Agree.
think that's the perfect way to build community. So keep doing whatever it is that you're doing the way you're doing it. Obviously, as you guys scale and grow, it'll be a little harder to reach everybody, but man, by that point everybody's rocking with you and they know what it
Correct.
is, right? They was with you in the gym. So yeah,
Correct.
that's
And
important.
it's,
That's
it's the
important.
little things. Even, if leaving a comment and responding to a comment on Instagram, that's
Hmm.
important. Even reposting someone's, review on our page, showing love. Like, our page ain't just about our page. Like, if you did a review, I'm gonna repost it on my page as well. I think that's important to share light, and that's important.
Hmm.
Shout out to you, Bruce, for that. I know that, like, in the content space, we often get questions that are like, we'll post a fragrance, we'll have the name of the bottle, the name and the title, and somebody will comment, "What
Facts.
fragrance is that?" And it
Facts.
takes everything, you know, out of
Yeah.
us to not respond in a mean, harsh way or whatever. Um, but this is the internet. But let me ask you all this: how do you all feel about AI, and does it have a place in the fragrance in terms of creating fragrances and being in the fragrance community?
Hmm. I use AI in terms of, like, it helps out with some marketing. If I'm creating an ad, I can, take a photo and actually dramatize the photo by making it a video and add, unique elements to it. If I need to write a caption, it'll help me elaborate on the caption. So it is useful and it does save sometimes in some capacity. But as far as, like, the actual fragrance part, is there's limits to what that can do. So I don't think it'll really have too much impact on our industry. But as far as, like, marketing and things of that nature, it's very helpful.
You got to use it as a tool, just a tool to help you
Yeah.
to navigate and make your life a little easier.
So you all don't think 10 years from now, uh, AI will be the new perfumer, and we just gonna be buying AI
It would,
made fragrances?
they could make it. It'll all be redundant. That's the thing, because the AI
Yep.
doesn't have a sense of smell, per se. So
That's it.
it will be all redundant.
Yeah, it'll try to mimic Baccarat Rouge and
It'll be
create
a higher
variations of that.
version
Yeah,
of dupe. It'd be dupe of a dupe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it doesn't have a scent memory. There's nothing to tie
Correct.
it to. There's nothing to there's no reference point for it.
Hmm.
Speaking of, when you're, thinking about these fragrances and creating them, is there a specific memory that maybe one of the fragrances ties you to that fragrance where you're like, this is the reason I created this fragrance? Maybe your signature scent, is it like, man, this just takes me back to when me and the guys was out, the story you told, everybody's in white, we the clean, like,
Hmm.
is one of, is there a memory you could share with us about one of your fragrances?
That signature memory was accurate. I would say also, Purple Label. I'm a big fan of Ralph Lauren. So, when we came out with the purple, so the Purple Label was our fourth fragrance, and we wanted something that was going to be outstanding, something that was going to be top tier for the brand. So, when we came out with the Purple Label, it was kind of tied into that memory of Ralph Lauren having the Purple Label, because his that Purple Label was different than the Polo regular horse.
Hmm.
It was the top tier. So coming out with the Purple Label was our staple of saying, okay, this is one of the top tiers of the fragrances in our collection.
So I'm gonna piggyback off that. So with that's your side of it. Have you got a testimony from one of your people that has bought one of your fragrances that just stuck with you with one of your fragrances? That said, like, hey, this fragrance changed my experience with of fragrances, or just loving it so much, or whatever they might have said.
I actually have one. Can you mind if I read a text?
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
go
by all
Sure.
ahead.
means, sir.
All right. So first of all, I would like. Can you see me still?
No, no,
No.
No,
we
he
No.
can.
kind of went off.
Okay. So I'll read it and come right back. So
Okay.
we try to market ourselves. We're African American. We're black. However you want to phrase it. You know, we're black. We're a black business brand, right? But we are a brand. We don't limit ourselves to just being a black business brand. So we had a pop up shop here in New Jersey in November, and a good friend, a longtime friend of mine, an Italian woman, her name is Gia. I'm not gonna say her last name. Um, she came and she bought a bottle, and she wrote me this text earlier this month. She said, "Today I went to serve pizza at Sadie's school. Before the kids came in, I walked past the volunteers, and they all told me, 'Gia, you smell so good.' So I said, 'Oh, it's my friend's fragrance company.' Then I asked if I had sprayed too much and it smelled too strong. To which both of them replied at almost the same time, 'No, you just smell clean.' So this is an Italian woman here in New Jersey, in the suburbs of New Jersey, where I'm more than likely the people she was speaking with was Caucasian or white, whatever I want to phrase it. And we try to market ourselves as a good brand, not a good black brand. So that was my quick story on a testimonial or a customer experience.
That's exactly what we were looking for. I'm
That
saying
was nice.
that's a very honest, like that. I think that's the gratification you get. Like I can always say a fragrance that whenever a certain fragrance that I have, everybody knows I love a certain fragrance here, and I'll stand by it and die by it. But it's just getting it back to the people that you're buying it from, and a testimony to them. It brings value to you, and acts like you actually appreciate what you're delivering to the public is something that they
Mhm.
appreciate, you know. And I think
Indeed.
that's a good feeling for y'all as a brand, to know that people are actually developing scent memories for your brand, has a
Yeah.
story to tell you, and they just appreciate you taking the hard work and developing these fragrances that you're putting out to the world.
And
Yeah.
everyone is, I'm sorry, Bruce, everyone is not really on social media like that. So I don't expect everyone to be blasting and reposting and sharing and stuff. So that was a personal conversation or personal message to me about her experience. And I asked her to repost, I asked her to post it, but she's not really into it. So I just wanted to share that quick story. My bad, Bruce.
No, you're fine. And in this space too, we all know as entrepreneurs, we get into that fuzzy area where friends and family don't support. And I would say in this industry, I've met so many people that I haven't even met in person that are diehard fans of the brand. I mean, what's it's to the point where we taking stuff offline and they text me personally, "Hey, Bruce, I'm wearing this today." Never met the guy ever in life, but loves the brand. And just taking these relationships offline and just dealing with people you don't know is just amazing. I mean, and it goes from state to state, different everybody. It's just amazing experience.
What I want to know is when the next pop up, because we're gonna hit the turnpike and come up that way for a pop up. You got to let us
We're
know.
gonna be in Houston.
Are you going Are you going in August?
Grant, yeah. Fred
See,
Fragcom.
yes, I said I'm. See, I've been trying to tell them like, hey, I know I'm gonna go. They was like, I want to work the kinks out. Nah, I want to see the freak and the fret of the hiccups and everything, to see the first experience, to be a part of that first wave of it, to see, is it worth coming
Yeah.
back to? Are they really promoting to the community? Is this just the niche brands? What is the experience like? Are they
I,
really promoting?
I think that I don't mean to cut you off. I think they're
Oh, you
doing a
good?
good job for what I see. I was a little hesitant when they reached out to us. I was like, I didn't know if it was a scam because in this industry you get so many scammers and stuff like that trying to get money. But behind the scenes and speaking to the organizers and seeing foot to the ground. They actually showed like the event space, and they're very organized with all the vendors. I think they're gonna have a great rollout. And then even being in Houston, like Texas alone is like our number one customer base. So I know the turnout in Houston is it's gonna be crazy.
What's your most I hear the good parts, but what are you most nervous about going to? First, is this your first major fragrance event y'all
Convention.
jumping into, as far as a big like
Pop up.
experience? Yeah.
No, we actually worked with Glamcation out in California. We did their event 2 years in a row.
Okay.
Oh, we was gonna do it this year, but then we decided, let's try something different. So that's when we decided to jump onto the Fragcom pop up.
How is the? I think when we went to Sin Explorer 2 years ago, we saw the biggest issue with them was getting their product to the location for certain brands coming from overseas. Do y'all foresee that being a big problem, or are they actually working those things out for y'all to get it there so y'all have the bottles or the inventory to sell there that y'all want to put out there to the people?
Actually, one of the there's a lady who purchased one of our fragrances, asked if we was going to be there, and I actually established a relationship with her directly, where I asked if I could send my inventory to her, and then I pick it up when I arrive in Houston.
Okay.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
So again, it's about building community, building relationships, taking it offline, and it becomes useful to the fact that, if I do have inventory left over, I can trust her to send it back to me and things of that nature. So it helps out.
Well, we're not gonna wish that upon you. We just bring positivity. You ain't gonna have no
Oh yeah, yeah,
inventory.
yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Jessica, what you want to say? I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say shout out for the insight on this convention because I know it's probably a few people watching. Like we have a community on TikTok. We talk about these things, and I know a bunch of people are going. They get a chance to smell your things in real time because
Yeah.
we always have this same conversation, right? And the conversation is kind of around black fragrance, right? We're all black and accessibility is a big issue. So because we always have the conversation on why some brands do better than other brands, but like your fragrances are unique, they're one of a kind.
Mhm.
Um they give a vibe that some of these other brands don't, and it's like, well, why isn't this brand more popular? And we always talk about accessibility just for black creators, and obviously the struggles are a lot different for black brands, but being able to go to somewhere like that, smell your stuff in real time, that's why it's important to do events up
It
like
is.
this, because it's not like we can necessarily walk into the store and smell the fragrance. And I know sometimes that keeps even me from, now I'm a blind buy a fragrance. That's one thing about me. You ain't got to worry about me. I'm a buy a fragrance. But if it came down to two fragrances, one I smelled, one I didn't, a lot of times I'm gonna go with the one that I smelled, right? That's just
Correct.
natural. I know what I'm getting myself into. So doing events like this is super important. So shout out to y'all for taking the chance with this convention that's coming around for the first time. You're stepping outside the box, you're betting on yourself because like you said, you
Yeah.
had the opportunity to go to another convention where you already are established, the people saw you 2 years in a row, and you're
Hmm.
betting on yourself. And I tend to find when you bet on yourself, other people bet on you too. You know what I mean? My mom always said, if you help
That's a
yourself,
fact.
other people will help you, right? So
You
for
did.
anybody that's going to Houston, make sure y'all go to the booth, y'all smell all the things, you support, and do it because that's the best way to get your nose on it if you can't walk in the store. So take
Indeed,
advantage.
and we turned a lot of people into believers. Oftentimes people will follow us for years, and then they see us in person, they smell it, and they like, you know what, I kind of overlooked you guys, and then they end up buying 3 or 4 fragrances. So just, and I get it. It's to trust the brand online is difficult, but once we meet in person and they get a whiff of that, they're like, okay, this is different.
Yeah.
Quick question. I don't know. I've been drinking this green tea, but maybe you all have already discussed it. How do you all know each other, Bruce and Jason?
Man,
We've
childhood
known each other
friends.
since the second grade.
Oh, okay.
We
Wow.
grew up in the same
Yeah.
neighborhood in the Bronx together.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I was his best man at his wedding.
Oh
yeah.
wow. So yeah,
And
Oh.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
gave it all up.
we go way back. We slept in each other's houses and um travel a little bit of the world together, and you know it's
Yeah,
it's it's so it's I don't remember not knowing Bruce, so it's like
correct. And
yeah,
we actually had so it was three of us actually.
yeah,
Another childhood friend, and he passed away in 2020.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry to
Um,
hear that.
so we was all, from the sandbox, and so
yeah,
us right now is just keeping the legacy going, keeping it
yeah,
going in his honor, keeping the brand moving.
yeah, yeah,
respect.
yeah. We our families knew each other, and we were just kids from around the way, and we I went to college, and Bruce stayed in the city. Went to college in the city, and here we are.
So always looking for, just always looking for a way out. Growing up in the projects, it was kind of like you have this stigma of like you're not gonna make it out, things like that. You're gonna get into crime, and Jason and I always just been ahead of the curve. Always doing something positive, and it's hard to be positive in a negative space because you do stand out, and you got to be tough to be against people who don't value your values. So
Yeah,
to still be here to this day and to still triumph and still create a brand and not be stuck in the community and actually being an influence to the community. I think we're doing a good job.
I want to say we known each other 40 years, so that's a long time.
Wow.
That's one more year than
Yeah.
I've been alive. Okay, all right. One more. Like,
Yeah,
Wow. That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had Jason. We talked about this before we went live. I mean, and this is a cream. Normally, a question cream would ask, but who's the real HU? We just had a real
And
question.
you don't even need to ask that. It's the Pirates 1868.
Go ahead, Hampton. Shout out,
One eight six
Hampton.
eight.
Shout out to the real
No, no,
HU.
no,
Jess,
no.
you went to Howard?
I did not,
Oh,
but I'm from the DMV, so blasphemy. Hampton
You
is not a
know
part of the DMV. So
we
yeah.
I don't
Uh-uh.
we I think we played you guys in football. We spank you guys every year
Franklin,
down in
ATL.
Oh,
DC. You
How
know,
how would
You know
how would
what?
getting
You know what?
how would
I
getting some
expect that from the Giants
tournament
fans.
love right now?
That ain't got a
That's
professional team up there no more. So you know,
so yeah, Hampton was an awesome experience for me. HBCU love. I could go all over the world and find someone from Hampton. A couple of years ago, I was hanging out with my Hampton brother Stephen Hill in Hawaii. So from Master
Hmm.
PI. So he was in the color purple as well. But Hampton's been a great experience. That's how I met. We that's how we indirectly met because I met people from Hampton that know someone that Nigel knows. So it's all love. It's all love. It's a good network of people.
I just want to say this experience has been very fantastic, and I appreciate your time, the energy y'all done put in to your brand, and I just wish y'all the best on the journey y'all on. And I'm gonna be here
Thank
to
you.
support it. We are gonna be here, and the people are gonna be here to support y'all along the way. Um, I want to get the floor to y'all to just say whatever y'all want to say to the people. Any lasting words? Just whatever y'all want to say. The floor is yours.
You want to go first, Bruce?
Continue. Yeah, I would say continue to support, believe in Get Right Fragrance. We're more than a brand. We're not your typical, fragrance brand with the French name. To us, we're stepping outside of the box. We bring energy. We have music. We have about four theme songs connected to our brand. We're doing something unique. We have fashion, we have a lot going on, and I think it's only going to expand and we're only going to grow to something bigger and better.
Like Bruce said, we have music, Apple, however you stream your music, Get Right Fragrance. We have about 3 or 4 downloadable tracks. Please support in that way. GetRightFragrance.com. Get Right Fragrance Instagram, Get Right Fragrance Facebook, Get Right Fragrance TikTok. We have about 30 plus thousand people on TikTok. Instagram, we have the numbers we have as well. We are a movement. We are a growing brand, soon to become a household name, and we look forward to having a future recap with you guys in the near future, so we could continue
Be
our
good.
discussion.
We'll be on a panel.
Hey, don't
Yeah,
worry, we
Yep.
got y'all.
This is where
Yep.
it all starts, you know. And I'm a firm believer, you know. We all starting from humble beginnings. At some point, you know, each one help each other. Who knows, man, where this thing can end up, you know?
that's a fact.
And
Agreed.
it's about being, you know, staying true to those, you know, because I believe this is a great, you know, relationship, and I believe that we're going to continue this moving forward for years to come. You know, building that partnership, you know, that network.
I agree.
Jess, you just parting words.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a question, right? It's a question that we kind of didn't get to, but if just final question, I guess, if someone never experienced Get Right before, like if they've never experienced it, what's one thing you want them to feel? Not smell, but like something you want them to feel by experiencing your brand.
Want them to feel clean.
Perfect
That's
answer.
it. Being
Perfect
clean is
answer.
everything, you know.
We,
Perfect
we,
answer.
I would say that we would like for them to experience something new, something special, something unique, clean, fresh, vibrant, lively, full of life, positive. We're all about positive. If you listen to one of our tracks, one of our first videos, our first marketing, we stress the fact about manhood, entrepreneurship, growth, uh,
Brotherhood, unity.
positive, good relationships with people and community. So we're more than a cologne brand. We're a lifestyle brand. We're a positive brand. So if that's answered your question, I hope it did.
Yep, it did. It did. It did. I
Kareem,
want to thank y'all so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course.
Kareem.
Um, Thank you for your time. You all didn't have to get on here, but you did. Thank you to the people that's watching for giving us their time as well. This was interesting. I learned a lot about you all, the brand. It's nice to be able to connect with other people in the fragrance community and genuine people. Uh,
Yes.
you like I said, this it's 8, 9 o'clock at night, and you all are giving us your time with and work the full day.
Vice
So
versa.
thank you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you again. I can't wait till we all on our yachts. You know,
Facts.
Speak it.
reflecting back on this moment. You
Speak
know
it.
that we were already growing, but everything just skyrocketed for all of us.
Speak it.
It's,
Speak it.
it's gonna
So yeah,
happen. It has no choice, you know.
Mhm.
The black owned brands are growing. They trying not to let us grow, but this thing is you smell it. You Chris Classic, you know, Sean Crenshaw, Kirk Elliott, you know, um this what's his name? Zarnell. What's my brother too? I don't want to forget his name. Elemental, you know.
Luke Solomon.
Yeah, we
Yep.
had him
Yeah,
on. We had him
and
on.
man,
That was our first one.
Pink Mahogany. You know, have you ever
Yeah.
reached out to Pink Mahogany? She's doing great things in the community. You
We
know,
just went through that sample
We
set.
just went through her samples. So, yep.
yeah, you know, and I think you know we're excelling and we're have so much competition because they don't want us to get out. You know, once that thing is revealed, it's over.
You might end up exposing some things where you can't keep coming out with flankers of the same fragrance.
Exactly,
You got to give
exactly.
us something. You got to give us something new. You got to give us something different.
Yeah.
The people are getting tired and the price points are getting higher, you know, they're getting
Yeah.
higher. A quick story, I would say, you know, how he came out with Cherry Red. You know, Cherry Red, when I got my nose on Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, I didn't really care for it. I was like, this is not wearable. It's just not a cherry fragrance. So that kind of inspired me to come out with Cherry Red.
Mhm.
And people that purchase Cherry Red are just blown away. Like they say, this is a very unique cherry. And there was another fragrance brand pretty popular that kind of copied the same element of Tom Ford, Lost Cherry. So I was like, the redundancy with that cherry and our cherry is totally different. So again, as long as we keep leading with unique scents, we're gonna pretty much dominate the space.
I agree.
Before I get my last second in, Bruce, I I was trying to buy that shirt,
Oh yeah.
but it was sold out on your line. I've been mentioning like, when can I order my sweatshirt? That's my first question.
Man, we sold out, man. It was a time. It was a moment.
I missed it. I'm trying to get back with the next one. Let me know when it come back around, please. Just put
Yes,
me the
we'll
first
do.
one in there.
We'll do.
But really, like, thank y'all again for just your time, your energy, a blessing, your responsiveness, and being just being there and being present and focusing on your brand and putting it out there and just promoting your stuff. That's excellent. And uh, when we end this, we're gonna be cutting over to TikTok eventually to do a live over there as well. And we would love for y'all to join us over there if you have the time. If you don't, we completely
We
understand.
get it.
No
But just
problem.
thank y'all once again for the time, and I'm glad that we were able to promote y'all, put y'all out there. Hey, y'all also promoting our brand, so we're
All
blessed
right.
at the same time frame. So I just want to say
Absolutely.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for
Indeed,
your time
indeed.
and energy, and just looking forward to seeing you in person, meeting you in person. Don't be, we'll reach out, and as you would say, like, share, subscribe. We out.
Thank
Indeed.
y'all.
Indeed.
Peace.
Peace.